first layer of pan pastel down. Now I'll be going into the second layer of pan pastel, which I will be using to try and just define the tones a little bit better. I've got some darks and some mediums and some lights, but I'm thinking that the reference photo has a lot of lights. So I'm just going to have to maybe just make a bit of a difference with some of those tones just to make a few things show up a bit more. After I finish doing the final pan pastel layer, then I'll be starting with the charcoal and the carbon pencils, doing line work and just whimsical lines, not following the reference to a T, but just trying to get some nice organic just line work in to give him a lift and to outline and to show a lot of those little wrinkles. He doesn't have the big, thick, dark wrinkles that a grown-up elephant would have. That's why I did the line test yesterday, just to see which lines I'm going to use. So I've got the results of that line test here, and I'll be referring to that as I go. And I can keep that now so that I know in future when I use this sanded paper, how the charcoals and the carbons are going to play on it. So it was quite a useful thing to do. So I'll keep that up there to refer to. And get started. Okay. Finished the final pan pastel layer. I might add a few more touches later maybe, but for now that's done. So that's where we're up to. I'm using this piece of tracing paper just to rest my hand on. Last thing I want to do is get black pastel and carbon and charcoal all over this white paper. I'm already going to have to touch the white paper up at the end, but yeah, I'll try and minimise it as much as possible. So now I really want to do the eyes. When I do a colour pencil piece, the eyes are basically the first thing I do. I like to get the eyes in quickly, but with this one, you have to leave the eyes for a bit because otherwise they're just going to get smudged by the pan pastel. So the other problem I have is that the reference photo, which I can show you here, the reference photo is basically a black a black mark. I mean, the black eyes, they don't show any detail. And I want to have some sort of detail on the eyes. So let's get the shape right to start with. Now let me just pick what I'm going to do that with. Okay, the Montmartre black medium charcoal. Let me find that one. Soft, hard, medium. Okay, nice sharp point too. All right, so just want to get the shape of this right. So it's sort of coming up that way, down, and then almost straight across. So I want to get a little bit of, just to try and fix that up a little bit. Get the shape of that eye going correctly. Yeah, it's really hard to tell, but so all I can see is black. I can't see anything else. And then just underneath, it's got a little grey area and then little semicircle. That's my husband's phone, sorry. Okay, now on top of the eye, I might use the white charcoal for that one, just to, so it's got just a light section there, and then a dark, and then a nice white on top of that, which I might use the other white for. It's a different one, isn't it? Very nice. Okay, and then we have another dark that sort of comes over this way. And then a wide or light, and then a sort of a broken line, and then another broken line, and sort of so I'll just soften that a little bit. Now, in order to put a highlight in the eye, if I use the white, it's going to be too bright, I think. Let me just try it. You can easily go over it. So, I'll try and figure out where it might be. Okay, that's not too bad. All right, let's try the other eye and see how we go. Let me just, so under this line here, which is sort of not going that far, so let me just blur that out a bit. We have a light white, which I'll use the Montmartre one for, coming up here, and coming under here, and then under some lines sort of coming out there, and then a line coming a bit whiter, so just coming up from under the eye there, and then just coming under this mark here, and then down here. So let's just soften that a little bit. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's try for the other eye. Actually, I just want to get a little bit of light in here. Now, just use this one. This is the graphitone, just to give lines through there. And giving that a little bit of light. And under here there's some darker bits coming there, but not dark. Okay, let's try the other eye. Now this one is a bigger dark patch than on the right, so sort of going that way, but it's, I can see what it's okay. Okay, so there. Now the bit underneath's quite dark, and then let's get the graphitone and come in here. It's got that sort of darkish, but not black in there. Which one will I use? Montmartre sketch stick. Which one is that? Sketch stick, this one. Okay, so this one I want to use just for getting that little grey bit coming down there. And from here. And okay, white in here. Yeah, it sort of gets a bit thicker in here. And then another white bit on top. And then grey line sort of coming up. Going off into the wild blue yonder. Okay. And then it's sort of got another okay. Now, soft carbon, where's that Fiaco? So I don't know what all these things look like, so I've got a Fiaco. Okay, where's that? Here we go, this one. So handy having this to go from, because I can see how dark they are and how thick they are, and I can work out which one I want to use. So this one I want to use the Viarco and get some lines down here. So this is carbon, this one. And it's sort of get some shading up to there. Oh, it should be over here. Okay, put that in the wrong place. Let me just... Actually, I'll use the kneaded eraser. Very handy little thing, this. Okay, gone. Now, back in the right place. Okay, so let me just... Trunk comes to here, then it's got this line here, and then a line up there, where that's sort of white. Then the black lines need to come. So then, starting from under the eye, coming more over here. And that's all leading up from here. Just soften that a little. In between here. We've got a dark, where am I? Yep, got a dark bit. Oh, let's just get the dark in behind there first. Okay, so I've got a little bit of white down here. I'm using the Montmartre at the moment, it's not the brightest white. I've got a dark line under there, and then now, let's get this darkish line in up here. So, sort of shadow area in between the head and the ear. And around about here, there's an indentation. Here. And then there's a dark sort of border on the ear. So not doing it too heavy. Just leave that to there. So coming back to here, I think this size. And okay, I'll try that, see how it goes. Okay, it's not too bright. All right. Carbon back here. I've had a good look at it and I'm happy. So I'm going to sign. Actually, I'm not going to sign. What I'm going to do is just give it another coat of white to try and get rid of those marks. So I might do that.